There are moments that change everything. Moments that arrive without warning, in the quietest, most unlikely places. For Moses, that moment came in the wilderness, on a day that had begun like any other. He was tending his father-in-law's flock near Mount Horeb, moving through the dry silence of the desert when something caught his eye. A bush burning on the mountainside, its flames bright and restless. But the bush was not consumed. The fire did not devour it, and Moses, drawn by wonder, turned aside to look. As he drew closer, the air itself seemed to change. The bush blazed with a light that was not of this world, golden, trembling, alive, as though heaven had torn open and spilled its glory onto the earth. And then, from within the fire, came a voice. Not thunder, not wind. A voice, clear, deliberate, unmistakable. Moses. Moses. His own name, spoken by the Creator of all things. Imagine hearing your name called by the one who breathed the stars into being. Moses stood frozen, his heart hammering in his chest. "Here I am," he whispered. It was all he could say. In that single moment, the ordinary world fell away, and Moses found himself standing at the threshold between earth and heaven. The God of the universe had stooped down, not to speak to a king or a priest, but to a shepherd, a fugitive, a man who had spent 40 years in the desert, forgotten by the world, but not forgotten by God. "Do not come any closer," the voice commanded. "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Moses trembled. He removed his sandals and pressed his bare feet into the dust, feeling the weight of the moment settle into his bones. Then the voice spoke again. "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." At these words, Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. This was not a distant deity. This was the living God of his ancestors, the God of covenant and promise, the God who had not forgotten his people, even after 400 years of silence and suffering. And then came the words that would change the course of history. "I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their oppressors, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them. And now, Moses, I am sending you." Sending him. Moses the exile. Moses the man with blood on his hands. Moses who had fled Egypt in shame and spent decades hiding in the wilderness. God was not looking for someone impressive. He was not searching for the most qualified, the most eloquent, or the most powerful. He chose the one who had nothing left, nothing but availability. And that, it turns out, is all God has ever needed. But Moses did not leap at the call. He recoiled from it. "Who am I?" he asked, his voice breaking, "that I should go to Pharaoh? Who am I that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" It was the question of a man who had already tried and failed, a man who knew his own weakness too well. "I am not eloquent," he protested. "I am slow of speech. I stumble over my own words. Surely, Lord, you have the wrong man." And perhaps you have felt the same. Perhaps you have heard a stirring in your spirit, a call to step forward, to speak, to serve, and your first instinct was not courage, but fear. Not faith, but a long list of reasons why you are not enough. Moses stood before the burning bush and offered God every excuse he had. And God listened patiently to every single one. Then, when the last excuse had been spoken and the silence had settled like dust, God answered. Not with a lecture, not with a rebuke, with a promise. "I will be with you." 4 words, the simplest, most profound assurance ever spoken. The bush still burned. The light grew brighter, warmer, closer. And in that light, something shifted inside of Moses. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of something greater. He did not become brave. He became surrendered. And that was enough.